everybody out there. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Welcome to our very first edition of a brand new show we're bringing to market called Good Coach, Bad Coach. The great secrets that the unbelievable coaches know that the others will never, ever figure out. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the super coach. That's a cross between a former championship coach who has an entrepreneurial mind. And I believe everybody needs a coach in life. This is my basic position in the market. Because a good coach will do three things for you. They'll make you have conversations you don't want to have. They'll make you do some things you don't want to do. But boy, they'll help you become something you didn't think you could become. So straight out of the locker room, right into your life. I'm leadership expert, former championship coach, author of the 10 books, reality TV show Zebras and Cheetahs. We got our other coaching show called The Super Coach, where we multiply your life, multiply your money, multiply your business. And I want to basically set the precedent for a brand new show we're going to be bringing to you every week on Monday night called Good Coach, Bad Coach. This is for all of the people, and there are millions of coaches in the world. Athletic coaches, athletic trainers, Little League coaches, Babe Ruth coaches. There are millions and millions of coaches in the world, but I'm not just speaking to you guys. I am because I'm a former championship coach, and I'm going to teach you how to build and engineer people to win at what you do. I'm going to teach you how to grow the whole person. I'm going to teach you the habits of great and successful coaches. But I'm also want to speak to the managers who are out there, because I have a basic belief that in less than 5 years, every manager in America will have to be a great coach. That there will be no more supervision in the world. There'll be managers who solve problems and make decisions, but there'll be great coaches that engage people in a set of systematic and consistent behaviors that allows people to do something tomorrow they cannot do today. That's my definition of coaching. We engage you in a set of systematic and consistent behaviors that allows you to do something tomorrow you simply cannot do today. And let me tell you the premise of this. This most likely will become a book for me that I'm going to work on this whole year of 2015 called Good Coach, Bad Coach. 10 secrets the great coaches know that the other coaches will never figure out. See, there's more bad coaches than good coaches. Matter of fact, there's a lot of bad coaches. There's a lot of bad teams. There's more bad teams than good teams. And about 3 years ago, I was looking at a book, reading, trying to grow my entrepreneur, grow my financial IQ, and I was reading books by Robert Kiyosaki. And Kiyosaki wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad's Guide to Investing, Cash Flow Quadrant. But Rich Dad, Poor Dad has sold over 30 million copies. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what is this guy saying and how he's saying it that's important to 30 million people? Well, if you look at the subtitle of that book, it's what the rich teach their kids that the poor and the middle class never, ever are taught. They never, ever learn. And it really got me thinking. It got me thinking about the differences between good coaches and bad coaches. And if I could show you, as a former championship coach, if I could show you the habits of great coaches and the habits of bad coaches, why in the world would you ever be a bad coach? And we know there's bad coaches out there in the world. When I was a coach at Riverdale, one of the largest high schools in Tennessee, I got there at 19 years old as an assistant coach. I was an assistant for 3 years. I then quickly became the head coach at 22. By 25, we were winning 20 games a year. We had 7 20-win seasons, 25-win seasons, 4 or 5 conference titles, 3 sub-state appearances, 1 state championship. And we basically took a dormant, dead culture and turned it into a very successful culture. And I actually found my voice at 15 years old by coaching a Little League basketball team, a junior pro team. That's what turned me on to coaching. And so I started thinking about if I could just show coaches, man, if I could just show coaches the habits. Because when I watch a team, I watch the coach. The better the coach, the better the team. It's just that simple. So when I was 25 years old, I wrote a book called Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I believe a good coach can change your life. And then a couple years later, I followed that up with the book called The Inspirational Leader, How to Be a Leader People Choose to Follow versus Have to Follow. I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, because most coaches lead through fear, as did I for many years, until I understood this principle. When you borrow strength from a position of power, you actually build weakness in the relationship. When you borrow strength from your position of power, you actually undermine the relationship. So for many years, I was an okay coach. We won 20 games, but we always reached a ceiling. We reached a ceiling of complexity. We reached a ceiling where we couldn't break through to the next level. And it had just as much to do with me, the coach, as it had to do with my players and my team. You see, when most coaches lose, when most managers underperform, the very first place they go is they start blaming their team. But I would tell you that many times the prohibiting factor of getting you to the monster level, to the super coach level, ain't got nothing to do with your players, man. It's got everything to do with you, your leadership style, your focus, your drive, your intensity, how attractive it is to play for you. And so today in the very first show, I'm going to share with you Good Coach, Bad Coach, which is a derivative of the concept of rich dad, poor dad. You know, and instead of what the rich teach their kids that the poor and middle class never do, this is what great coaches do that the pitiful coaches will never, ever figure out. And if you can get this coaching, and my hope for you is something in this show and this podcast you can listen to on iTunes or Podcast Republic on Android, and you can watch it every week at CoachBurt.com and on my YouTube channel. My hope is that something in this show propels you as a coach to a whole nother level, that you really become the coach other people want to play for. You become the person that other people want to follow. You become the person that other people are attracted to. And something in this show really helps you get to the level that you want to get. Because here's the deal. At the end of the year, there's usually one champion. There's a lot of people go home frustrated, pissed off, mad. But here's the worst part about that. They'll go back the very next year, the very next season, and they will do the exact same thing. Maybe they win 2 or 3 more games. Maybe they lose 2 or 3 more games, but there's no shift. They think all of their problems are external. We don't have the players. We don't have the facility. We don't have this. We don't have that. And I'm going to really challenge you to take a look at you and your leadership philosophy. I'm going to be giving you the habits, and I'm going to be comparing, contrasting good coaches and bad coaches, because 10 years from now, your players are going to say something about you. They're going to say you changed their life or you were a bozo. And I can't tell you, when I ask this question in my audiences around the country, here's one of the biggest questions I ask. How many of you have ever had a great coach in life? Almost the whole room raises their hand and said, I have. Then I say, how many of you have ever had a bad coach? Then almost both hands go up. And so when I was a coach at Riverdale, one of the largest high schools in Tennessee, there would be players that would get to me as 14-year-olds who had played their whole life. They started playing at 4 years old in Pee Wee leagues. Then they went to junior pro. Then they went to middle school or elementary. Then they went to middle. Then they came to me to play for me, drastically underprepared. They didn't know how to sit up in a meeting and make eye contact. They didn't know how to be on time. They didn't know how to have emotional toughness. They didn't have the knowledge, the skill, the desire, and the confidence. We had 100 players, 30 made it, 70 got cut, and the mom and daddy would come to me and say, my God, Coach, my little girl's been playing since she was 4 years old. I said, yeah, she may have, but she's been playing for the wrong people, because the wrong people have been teaching your daughter. They haven't grown her knowledge. They have not grown her skill. They have not grown her desire. And they have not grown her confidence. So now we've got a person that's got some skill, some knowledge, some desire, and just a little bit of confidence. And here's the deal. In a super competitive world, your child is not ready to thrive in a monster competitive world. So what I'm leading into is this good coach principle. We're going to come back after the break and teach it to you. A good coach always coaches the whole person. A bad coach only focuses on one dimension of a person's nature, and that's the body, the skill, the talent. So when we come back from break, I'm going to show you how I use the whole person theory to squeeze out every ounce of potential out of every player as much as I could to get them to perform at mega levels. You're listening to Good Coach, Bad Coach, and I'm the super coach, Micheal Burt. Welcome back to the Super Coach Show. Actually, the Good Coach, Bad Coach Show. I got so many shows, man, I can't even remember what day it is. This is Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. You can follow me at Micheal Burt, Micheal, because everybody needs a good coach in life. Follow me at Coach Burt. Buy any of my books, including The Anatomy of Winning. I'm bringing some stuff from that today. I'm also bringing some stuff from The Inspirational Leader, how to be a leader and coach other people choose to follow versus have to follow. And my very first, the original seminal work, back when I was 25 years old, Changing Lives Through Coaching. And I think every young coach out there, every manager in the world needs this book, Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I do think a good coach can change your life. Now, the reason I created this show is simple. If you've been listening, I believe there's good coaches and there's bad coaches. I believe there's more bad coaches than good ones. I believe most coaches, most teams drastically underperform out there in the world because they got bad coaches that squander good talent. Now, I'll say that again. Bad coaches that are underprepared, ill-equipped, uninformed, not very talented, unprofessional, they squander lots of good talent. Have you ever seen a team out there in the world that drastically overperformed when they had less talent? And it was because they had a great coach. Have you ever seen a team incredibly talented that drastically underperformed because they had a bad coach? The leader and the coach has the most influence over any system in the world. So I decided to put together a new show. It's going to come out on Mondays nights called Good Coach, Bad Coach. You can get it on iTunes. You can get it also on all of the other channels where you get podcasts. You can listen to it at CoachBurt.com, or you can watch it on my YouTube channel and at CoachBurt.com. The show is titled Good Coach, Bad Coach, Secrets to the Great Coaches Know That the Others Never Figure Out. Today's topic is this. There's a good coach. There's a bad coach. Here's the principle. A good coach always focuses on the whole person. When I learned the whole person theory, now I'm a deep disciple of Stephen Covey. When I say deep, I ain't saying I read the book like most people do. I'm saying I read the book, I went through the material, I got certified, I learned these 7 habits that I could tell you in my freaking sleep. And I made a decision as a young coach that when I became a head coach, I would always teach my players these 7 habits. Remember this as a coach. You cannot give away what you don't possess. If you don't know these habits, you can't give them away. If you don't have yourself together, you can't inspire other people. You can't give away what you don't possess. So I made a decision to teach my players the 7 habits of highly effective people. Well, when I went through that training, I learned a new theory. And I was 25 years old. I borrowed the $2,500 from my mama. Okay, because I didn't have the $2,500. It was that important for me to go to that training. And I learned something called the whole person theory. Since learning that theory, it has drastically changed my level of thinking and everything I do. So the whole person theory says this, because a good coach taps into the whole person. A good coach understands that every player they coach, every person they manage in a company, has 4 parts to their nature. They got a body, they got a mind, they got a heart, and they got a spirit. Each of these parts produce 4 different needs, 4 different dimensions, 4 different capacities, 4 different intelligences. The bad coach only focuses on one part, the body. So you say, what does that look like? Well, the bad coach practices, lifts weights, practices, runs, punishes. See, they think they can solve all the problems by focusing on the skill. But here's the deal. When you lose this year, you won't always lose because of talent. There will be some nights, maybe 4 games a year on your schedule. If you're in football, maybe it's 1 or 2 games, that you just get beat because they're better than you. They're bigger, they're faster, they're stronger, they're quicker. But there's going to be a lot of games, guys, that you lose for a couple reasons. It ain't got nothing to do with the skill level. You're going to say things like, we don't buy in. Our players didn't buy into us. We don't have good chemistry. We don't have enough heart. We don't have any leadership. These are what's called intangibles. I even wrote a book on that somewhere around here called The Intangibles. Okay, there's more to winning than just practicing. So here's my question. When you lose this year, when you walk in that locker room and you say our players didn't buy in, we don't have enough chemistry. Oh, here's a big one. We don't trust each other. They don't believe in our system. They don't believe in me as the coach. Here's a little tip for you, coaches. That's got nothing to do with the body. The body is talent, skill, discipline. It does not have anything to do with chemistry, heart, confidence. That has to do with the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Now, I talk about that extensively in the book, The Anatomy of Winning, with Rick Insell, 10-time championship coach, Hall of Fame coach. And I go into this whole person theory, and I spoke on this at the Final Four probably in 08, 09, and you would have thought I flew in on a freaking space cadet because nobody understood what I was talking about. You know why? Because I'm operating at a whole nother level of thinking. I'm not just a common coach saying, you know what, let's just work these people harder. Let's practice them longer. Let's lift them harder. Let's scream at them yet louder. Here's what I'm saying, guys. There's more to winning than just practicing. So what are you doing as a coach to build the mind, the heart, and the spirit? The mind's need is knowledge. The heart's need is love and to be loved. The spirit's need is confidence and to leave a legacy. So what we did, here's some things you can implement from now. Number one, you can pick up my book, The Anatomy of Winning, Changing Lives Through Coaching, The Inspirational Leader. This is a must for every person that wants to be a good coach. When I write the book, Good Coach, Bad Coach, pick that up, but it'll probably be a year out. So here's what you can do. I started building success academies. Every day, I would teach my players principles, 7 habits of highly effective people, 5 dysfunctions of teams, principles of good to great, power of intention, how to become a category of 1. These are things I was teaching my players every single day, the inspirational leader. And what I'm doing is I'm building the mind, the heart, and the spirit. We did team retreats. We did offsites. We did challenges. We did Ironman contests. What we're doing is battle testing our team because I was smart enough to figure this out early, guys. Every player is made up of 4 parts. If you say, I want you all in, I don't want part of yourself. I used to say you can't put 50 cents in a dollar Coke machine and get a dollar Coke out. If I want you all in, here's what I got to do. I got to tap into your body. That's physical. Your mind, that's mental. Your heart, that's emotional. Your spirit, that's spiritual. All 4 parts of a person's nature. The year we won a championship in 08, people asked me a lot about that experience, what it was like, and I like to tell them it felt like it was a spiritual experience. I knew that we were going to win that championship. I knew we were going to manifest what we'd been working toward for 10 years. And it just manifested itself. And I was standing, it's almost like standing in the corridor of your dreams, knowing that you are building so much momentum that it's about to break through. You just don't know when. The lesson of today's show was real simple. The good coach taps into the whole person. The bad coach taps into one dimension of a person's nature. If you want to learn how to do this, email us info@coachburt.com. We've got videos on this called The Anatomy of Winning, of talking about the whole person. We got books on it. We got all kinds of stuff on it. Every week I'm going to come to you and I'm going to show you how to be a good coach. But here's the thing you can't do. Quit being a bad coach, man. Quit being a leader other people don't want to follow. Quit being a person people don't want to sign up to buy into. It all starts with you understanding every one of these people you're coaching, 4 parts to their nature: body, mind, heart, spirit. If they can't connect to the vision of where you're going, if they won't buy in, if they won't trust each other, it is your job as a coach to build these multiple dimensions. Every week we come to you Monday night, good coach, bad coach. Title of tonight's show, tap into the whole person. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Follow me at Micheal Burt. Go to CoachBurt.com. Love for you to pick up our books or watch us every single week on our other show called The Super Coach every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Between now and then, remember this. There's good coaches and there's bad coaches. The good ones know the secrets that the bad ones